Ever pondered on the question, what does it mean to transition from one gender to another? Well, let's unpack that. At its core, gender transition refers to the process individuals undergo to align their physical appearance and body with their gender identity. This journey is deeply personal and unique to each individual. It's not a one-size-fits-all process. In fact, it can involve a myriad of steps, from medical interventions to social changes, and even legal considerations. Some might consider hormone therapy or surgeries, while others may choose to socially transition, adopting a new name, pronouns, or clothing that better aligns with their identity. And then there's the legal side of things, like changing one's gender marker on identification documents. It's a complex, multifaceted journey, but one that's ultimately about living authentically as oneself. Today, we delve into the intricate process of gender transition, breaking it down step by step. Any discussion about gender transition must start with understanding gender dysphoria. This term may sound complex, but it's not too tricky to comprehend. Picture a scenario where your reflection in the mirror conflicts with your inner sense of self. That's what gender dysphoria often feels like. It's a psychological condition where an individual experiences distress because their gender identity doesn't align with the sex they were assigned at birth. It's like a constant tug-of-war between who you are and how the world perceives you. And this dissonance can lead to significant emotional turmoil. This is often the starting point for many who decide to transition, as addressing this inner conflict can be a catalyst for change. But remember, this is a deeply personal journey, and it varies greatly from person to person. For those who decide to transition, the journey often begins with acknowledging and addressing their gender dysphoria. Transitioning is not a light switch. It's a journey of self-discovery and acceptance. The exploration of one's gender identity is an intimate and deeply personal journey. It's not about waking up one day and deciding to change. It's about recognizing the subtle, persistent feelings that have been there, perhaps for as long as you can remember, and allowing yourself to explore them. Imagine it like a vast landscape with hills and valleys, rivers and oceans. Each feature represents a different facet of your identity, and only by traversing this terrain can you truly understand what it means to be you. It's a journey that may be challenging, but it's also one of the most rewarding you'll ever undertake. Seeking support is a crucial part of this exploration. Therapists who specialize in gender identity can provide invaluable guidance, helping you navigate this new terrain with compassion and understanding. They can equip you with the tools to understand your feelings, to question societal norms, and to embrace your authentic self. Support groups, too, can be a lifeline. These are spaces where you can share your experiences, fears, and triumphs with others who are on similar journeys. They can offer you a sense of community, a feeling of belonging that can be so vital when you're exploring parts of your identity that society often misunderstands or stigmatizes. Self-acceptance, too, is a critical part of the journey. Acceptance doesn't mean resigning yourself to a life of struggle. It means acknowledging your truth and embracing it. It means looking at the reflection in the mirror and seeing not what society expects, but who you truly are. It means standing tall in your truth, even in the face of adversity. This exploration and acceptance form the foundation of your journey. They are the compass that guides you, the map that shows you the way. It's essential to remember that this is not a race. There's no right or wrong way to explore your identity, and there's no deadline for self-acceptance. Acceptance forms the bedrock upon which the physical journey of transition stands. And it's from this place of self-love and acceptance that you can start to consider the next steps on your journey. Next comes the step of social transition, a critical part of the journey. Social transition is where the rubber meets the road. It's about aligning your identity with how you present to the world. It involves adopting a new name, new pronouns, and possibly a new appearance to match your gender identity. This can be as simple as changing your hairstyle or as complex as a complete wardrobe overhaul. This phase can be a challenging one. It's like stepping onto a stage, under the spotlight, revealing your most authentic self. But it can also be one of the most empowering. It's a declaration, to yourself and to the world, that you are embracing who you truly are. Imagine the first time someone calls you by your chosen name. It's a name that reflects who you are, not who society expects you to be. It's a name that you've chosen, not one that's been assigned to you. It's a name that feels right, that feels like you. And then there are the pronouns. They may seem small, just tiny words in the grand scheme of language, but they hold so much power. They affirm your identity, they validate your existence. They are a constant reminder that you are seen, that you are acknowledged, that you are respected. Your appearance, too, may change during this time. You might find yourself experimenting with different styles, different looks, different ways to express your gender. It's like finding your own unique language, a language that speaks of your identity, your experiences, your journey. But let's be honest, this phase can be daunting. It can stir up a whirlwind of emotions. There might be moments of self-doubt, of fear, of uncertainty, but remember, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to take your time. It's your journey, your pace. You might face resistance, misunderstanding, even rejection. But remember, you are not alone. There are people who understand, who support, who stand by you. You are part of a community that celebrates diversity, that champions authenticity, that values every individual's journey. And through all the challenges, there's a sense of liberation, a sense of becoming, a sense of finally being able to say, this is me, this is who I am. The social transition, while challenging, paves the way for the coming stages. When ready, some individuals choose to embark on the medical transition. This is a critical phase in the gender transition journey, and there are two main components to consider: hormone replacement therapy, often abbreviated as HRT, and surgeries. Hormone replacement therapy is a cornerstone of medical transition. It involves taking hormones that align with one's gender identity. For transgender women, that might involve estrogen and anti-androgens, while for transgender men, this typically includes testosterone. These hormones can bring about changes that are often desired, such as the redistribution of body fat and the development of secondary sexual characteristics that align with one's gender identity. These changes are gradual, often spanning several years, and are monitored closely by healthcare professionals to ensure the individual's well-being. The second component of the medical transition is surgical intervention. This can range from top surgery, which involves altering the chest to align with one's gender identity, to bottom surgery, which refers to genital reconstruction. Some may also opt for facial feminization or masculinization surgeries to further align their physical appearance with their gender identity. It's important to note that not everyone opts for surgery. Some may choose to only undergo hormone replacement therapy, while others may forego medical interventions entirely. The decision to undergo surgery is deeply personal, and it's not a prerequisite for being transgender. In all cases, medical professionals should be consulted to discuss the risks, benefits, and alternatives. It's also crucial to remember that these medical interventions are not cosmetic procedures, but rather, they're life-changing decisions that help individuals to live in a body that feels more aligned with who they truly are. Medical transition is a journey, one that requires patience, resilience, and a solid support network. It's a process that can be both challenging and rewarding. It's about more than just physical changes. It's about self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-love. Medical transition is a significant step, one that brings many closer to fully aligning their bodies with their identities. The last step, often overlooked, is the legal transition. You've done the soul-searching, you've embraced your true self, and perhaps even embarked on a medical journey. But there's one more mountain to climb: the legal aspect. This part of the process involves legally changing your name and gender marker on identification documents. It's not just about crossing the T's and dotting the I's on a piece of paper. It's about ensuring your identity, the most authentic expression of you, is recognized in every aspect of your life. It's about walking into a room and not having to worry about the name or gender that pops up on a screen. It's about aligning your legal identity with your lived experience, making your external world as congruent as possible with your internal world. It may be a daunting task, but remember, it's the final stretch of this incredible journey. With legal transition, the journey of gender transition reaches its conclusion. So what does transitioning entail? We've come a long way in our understanding, haven't we? Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've walked through. First, we delved into understanding gender dysphoria, the distress a person experiences as a result of the sex and gender they were assigned at birth. We then moved to the stage of exploration and self-acceptance, a crucial step where one embarks on a journey of self-discovery and self-love. Next, we navigated the process of social transition, an incredibly brave step involving living and identifying as your true gender in everyday life. We then discussed the medical transition, which may involve hormone therapy or surgeries depending on one's personal needs and desires. Finally, we touched on the legal transition, a critical step that involves legally changing one's gender and name on official documents. Remember, every journey is unique, and this is but a simplified overview of the complex personal process of gender transition.